Hi guys, so Ireland has its own Exiteers too, it seems, and they will certainly get a platform on anti-EU, pro-Brexit channels and newspapers. Let me introduce you to Ray Bassett, former Irish ambassador to Canada, Jamaica and the Bahamas, but we'll get to know him a little later on. Anyway, he decided to let the Express know about the current anxieties that exist within the Unionist community in Northern Ireland when it comes to facing the protocol. Let's hear what he had to say.
Again, people have played this very badly, and we have a protocol. It'd be very difficult to abolish it totally, and it would probably go in the face of majority opinion in Northern Ireland, which now probably supports a watered down version of the protocol.
No, what the hell are you talking about? There isn't a majority in Northern Ireland for a watered down version of the protocol. A majority of businesses in Northern Ireland, a majority of the people of Northern Ireland, and a majority of the parties in the Assembly support the protocol, support implementing the protocol. Now, are there problems with the protocol? Yes, there are. But these entities, these parties, these business leaders, they want it implemented. They haven't talked about a watered down version.
Which didn't interfere too much with trade and commerce. But the real issue on the protocol now is the political issue. The fact that the unionist community is alienated.
The unionist community is alienated. Now, I'm not saying all of the unionist community, but I'm talking about here the DUP and the traditional unionist voice, the right wing, and also some left wing parties within unionism, campaigned for Brexit, voted for Brexit, and continue to support Brexit. Now, I've reached out to some members of this community to try and understand this. And when you talk about Brexit, they shut down. They complain about the protocol. They want the protocol gone. But they don't seem to want to link the protocol to Brexit. But of course, the protocol is a consequence of Brexit. If there was no Brexit, there would be no protocol. If there was no protocol, there would be no border in the Irish Sea. So, of course, the best way to get rid of the protocol would be for the UK as a whole to rejoin the single market and the customs union. But many Brexiteers and many people within the unionist community, in respect to the DUP and the traditional unionist voice, they don't want to do that.
And it's alienated in a different way than it's ever been alienated before, because they don't have a majority in Stormont. They don't have a majority of MPs. So there's a feeling inside the unionist community of, I wouldn't say desperation politically, but they are very...
Desperation? The unionists used to be in charge in Northern Ireland. They had a majority. That day is over. I'm sorry, people have to get used to it. Now, there are some pragmatic unionists who understand that times have changed, that a united Ireland is on the horizon. I'm not campaigning here for a united Ireland. I'm just laying out what's going to happen. There is going to be a united Ireland. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And some people within the unionist community understand that. Others do not, or are pretending not to. But the unionists used to be in control. Now they're not. And I think it's a disservice to ordinary unionists when politicians continue to pretend that a united Ireland is not on the horizon.
Very, very agitated politically. And, that has to be dealt with. You can't just wish that away. If the community which is alienated, you have to move in some direction towards, meeting any legitimate grievances.
What legitimate grievances? Please give us some examples of legitimate grievances, because I've heard this argument before. But there are no legitimate grievances. Otherwise, you give some examples. People who voted for Brexit don't like the Brexit that they've received, and that's a legitimate grievance? No, I'm sorry, that doesn't fly.
Now, quite clearly, the European Union implemented the protocol in a way which I don't think even the Irish government expected. It was very pedantic. They went for a maximalist position again. And, some of them...
No, they did not. And you can see how, for example, the business community in Northern Ireland are very happy with the proposals that the EU has presented recently. So you can't say that the EU has gone to the extremes here with the type of protocol. But even if they did, why did Boris Johnson and Lord Frost agree to it then? You can't say that it's all the EU's fault if Boris Johnson agreed to it. Then Boris Johnson has to take part of the blame. Boris Johnson is responsible for Northern Ireland. The Unionists should be angry with Boris Johnson, not with the EU. But for some reason, they're angry with the EU.
Regulations are just nutty. And people regularly, Sainsbury's, we quote Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's has stores in Northern Ireland. They don't have them in the south. So the lorries coming in to supply Northern Ireland supermarkets were being checked.
The lorries or the trucks coming in to Northern Ireland are being checked because they have to be checked, because they're moving from outside the single market into the single market, or potentially into the single market. So they have to be checked. Why is this so difficult to understand? You would imagine a diplomat, a former ambassador, would understand that. But let's see a little bit about this man himself. So you can see here that Ray is a fellow at the Policy Exchange, a right-wing think tank in the UK. And I want to read some of the headlines of articles that he has written in the past. It says here, the Irish border and the principle of consent, getting over the line, solutions to the Irish border. After Brexit, will Ireland be next to exit? Okay. Don't listen to the doom mongers. Why the UK, including Northern Ireland, can leave the customs union, avoid a hard border and preserve the Good Friday Agreement, which is a pile of crap. Okay. And this was written back in 2018. And time for political game playing over the Irish border to stop. This is an Irexiteer, or an Irexiteer, an Irish version of a Brexiteer here, basically. And he doesn't understand Brexit, he doesn't understand Northern Ireland, and he doesn't seem to understand unionism. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.